Hey, what's up? Unfortunately, again, my plan of continually making videos and staying ahead of spoilers came to a dismal failure. We are really far behind, and now the whole set is out. So, this is the final blitz, the Throne of Eldraine, to see all of the remaining cards. I'm pretty excited. We'll sort by spoiler date. That should still work. Full, which means we're starting off with some nice forests. Sure, classic kind of enchanted area, thicket. This one I quite like. Yeah, and some mountains. And the swamps. That's very pretty. It's a nice swamp. Ooh. Ooh. Yes. Ooh. Okay. All right. Ooh. Sure, sure, sure. Very nice, very nice. And the plains. Yeah, 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 yeah. Ooh. Ooh. Okay. All right. Fun. Easy. Dwarven Mine. Alright, so this is another super check land that we saw before. And it just gives you a dwarf. Easy enough. What's neat is this is a mountain, so you can tutor it up. You only get the dwarf if it enters untapped, which is unfortunate, but it is a something. Okay. Da-da-da-da. Okay. So this is something that used to be done in Magic quite a lot. Is an artifact representing a weapon or a store of weapons that would kind of transfer power onto creatures. You know, serrated arrows and stuff. I don't know. There's lots of examples. And then they introduced equipment, and the stuff kind of went away. But here again, we have something that symbolizes getting equipped in equipment, but it's not an equipment. It's just an artifact that bestows it onto it. I don't know. It's kind of interesting. Signpost Scarecrow. It's kind of cool. Could be good and limited. Fun. Fun flavor. Scalding Cauldron. Sure. That's terrifying, but that's medieval warfare. Prophet of the Pack. Hey, it's kind of like Lion King, it looks like. It's hanging out on the Great Henge, which looks a lot like Pride Rock from Lion King. Right? I don't know. But yeah, it's some sort of stone cat. Seems alright. It seems really good and limited. Crashing Drawbridge. Sure, it's kind of cool. Wow. So they ran up over the drawbridge and like jumped out. It's pretty sweet. Spore Cap Spider. Sure. It's like Paris. Kenrith's Transformation. Hey, so, alright, so this is like clearly the work of that guy, Oro, who can turn people into 3/3 elks. So I guess this is why Kenrith is like absent from the throne, why the throne is empty. It's because he got turned into an elk, the dumbass. So that's kind of fun. I like kind of that twist that the king was just this elk the whole time. That sort of thing is quite fun to me. It's a fantasy trope of royals getting turned into animals and chaos ensuing, and you just gotta kind of empathize with their fully human mind trapped in the deer. That's like, God damn it, I have to just watch my whole kingdom fall apart, looking for me and trying to figure out what to do when I'm just sitting here as a deer. Yeah, yeah, that's good. That's quite fun. Rimrock Knight. It's a dwarf knight, can't block. Yeah, okay. Oh, isn't that fun? Look at that. Look at him go. What a lad. Just running down the hill with all these boulders. Sure. It does really feel like it's part of some dwarven lore or whatever. The guy who led an avalanche. Fling, an all-time classic, goes all the way back to like Alpha, I think. Or not. Or just, what's this set called? Stronghold. Sure. Reaper of the Night. Okay, that's kind of cool. This is some nice synergy and stuff. Big fat dude. Terrifying, but cool. Memory theft. Ah, hey, that's pretty spooky. Flavorfully. It's out on an adventure. I was thinking it would come home and fight again, but no. You just died on your adventure. Malevolent Noble. Sure. Yikes. What a grim career. Sure. Hey, it's the Barrow Witches themselves. They're just a common. I guess there's a ton of them out there. Yeah, alright. It's the three, of course, kind of being Macbeth-like. Queen of Ice. Sure, yeah. Oh, isn't that lovely? I love their willingness to go outside of, like, usually they make a rule that the most prominent color in an art should share the color of the card, or at least it shouldn't be one of the other 5 colors of Magic. But here, you know, there's like prominent greens, there's the prominent kind of like plainsy color, there's prominent whites and stuff. It's all about just like the best art it can be, the most evocative storytelling art it can be, and not any of this adherence to, oh, well, it should be blue if it's a blue spell. Moonlit Scavengers. Yeah, sure, sure. Merfolk Secret Keeper. Cool. A very different style than a lot of the other adventure ones. This one much more modern, but still something that you could believe was part of like some kind of like Victorian era collection of fairy tales or whatever. I think it looks really good. Yeah, sure. Didn't say please. Wow. Wow. And I mean, of course, this is just permission in a nutshell. Can I cast this spell? Oh, didn't say please. Does this resolve? Oh. Do you mean please does this resolve? I don't know. Very silly. Card seems fine. It's just a limited counterspell. Charmed Sleep. Sure. Just limited control removal. Youthful Night. Sure. All of this. Oh, this is an old card from way back in Stronghold as well. Prized Griffin. It's just a Griffin. Cute. Outflank. Deals damage to target attacking or blocking creature equal to the number of creatures you control. That could be quite useful. Uh-huh. Ooh, Flutterfox! Wow, look at this guy. Look at him go. Interesting, interesting. This seems like it could be okay and limited. It's so cute. Thrill of Possibility. Additional cost to cast a spell, discard a card, draw some cards. Alright, sure. Hushbringer. Flying, lifelink creatures entering the battlefield or dying don't cause abilities to trigger. Ooh, so this one we've seen before, I'm pretty sure. So I guess let's just look for this word verbiage and see how they've done this effect before. Yeah, ETB doesn't trigger. We've had that a few times. But this is the first one that also covers dying, which is really, really interesting. Now, generally ETB triggers are a lot more relevant than death triggers. But there are a few combos that work based on like Blood Artist and stuff and Mass Sacrifice. So I don't know. This is quite interesting as a combo hoser. I wish I could flash in. I feel like that's very fairy-esque and would make this card a lot more useful as a combo breaker. The art is like really haunting and weird. Ooh, especially on the full art, jeez. Yeah, this is an interesting card. I feel like hate bears probably want this. The stats are kind of nice too. Flying is good. Causes a two life swing when it hits. ETB or dying. Like, is this played? I kind of don't think this is played in your like hate bears and stuff. I feel like this sees more attention because it can flash, or maybe not. Maybe none of this really sees play. I guess there's just kind of more robust hate bears. Like this is very particularly hosing certain types of creatures, but if you play something like Containment Priest, that's not how. This is cutting off entire avenues of getting creatures into play. You know, to me that's a pretty major difference. Like, here it matters which creatures they're trying to sneak in and stuff. And they still actually get the creature itself, whereas this like locks them out of entire avenues of play. So to me, this is way more hating. I don't know. A very interesting card though. Like the fact that it's not immediately making me think like, oh wow, this hoses like extra 11 deck. Makes me think, I don't know, like the things that are coming to mind are like, oh, you won't get worm coil tokens. Yeah, I don't know. Sage of the Falls. Sure, more non-human mechanics. Mystic Sanctuary. Well, that's kind of nice. But to me, that seems much more useful than a 1/1 dwarf, but whatever. Resolute Rider. Alright, sure. Turn of the Wild Speaker. Oh, so it looks like the curse is breaking. The curse is broken! There it is right there. So Garruk is a good guy again, I guess. Sure, alright. That's fine. So we got two very Garruk-like abilities. Power among non-humans you control. Non-humans get +3/+3. So I guess he's become like the non-human human guy. The butt of beast and bird and whatever. He's not going around killing everybody anymore, but he's still kind of had it with society, as he had before. Alright, so this is neat. This is like big value. Or at least it could be. It's like Rush of Knowledge, sort of, but Rush of Knowledge is based on CMC. So this seems easier to abuse. It's the same cost as Rush of Knowledge too. And then this can just win you the game. You can do it at instant speed too for a big Galactic Brain combat trick. Oops, you're dead. Yeah, I like this card. Festive Funeral. No, it's decent removal. Interesting. So this is that immortal elf that we saw before. Happily Ever After. Ah, we have Once Upon a Time and Happily Ever After. And when ETBs, each player gains 3 life, or 5 life. Because CMC was 3, I was just thinking 3. Draws a card. Beginning of your upkeep, if there are 5 colors among permanents you control, there are 6 or more card types among permanents you control and/or cards in your graveyard, and your life total is greater than or equal to your starting life total, you win the game. Ooh, an alternate win con on a pretty cheap card, based on things, you know, this, like, maybe you want to be doing regardless. This is something that quite often happens regardless in a lot of decks. And this is something you could be working to achieve that just helps you win the game in general, or at least not die. It's not the worst alternate win con I've ever seen. It's certainly nowhere near as many hoops to jump through as Biovisionary or Hedron Archive or whatever, Hedron Network. So people will try this. I think they'll try and largely fail. I still don't think it's strong, but it's something. It's not obviously bad either. So tiny. So silly. Huh. Alright, well this is, I mean, a pretty classic of fantasy tropes and stuff. Somebody shrinking down. Yeah. Alright, sure. Deathless Knight. Gain life for the first time each turn. Return Deathless Knight from the graveyard to your hand. Alright, cool. Fun. Locthwain, Gargoyle. Sure. Rosethorn, Halberd. Sure. Oh, sure. This doesn't seem too bad. Seems like it has some uses. Locthwain Paladin. Sure. Mad Ratter. Hey, this is really fun. This is like a one-card engine. They're churning out rats. Try to have just a lot of draws. I guess it's sort of like the Pied Piper. And the joke, the name joke is that it's like the Mad Hatter. Yeah, alright. Another draw your second card based mechanic. This is kind of fun. It's so open, because there's so many ways to draw cards. This is cool because it's each turn too, so if you draw 2 cards on your opponent's turn, you still get more rats. Yeah, it's neat. Steel Gaze Griffin. Sure, yeah. This is more... Okay, so this was like a whole little... Not like a cycle, it's only in blue and black, or blue and red. But they really pushed it out there. They're buds. Yeah, okay. Blood Haze Wolverine. Sure. Fabled Passage. Oh, okay, alright, pretty cool. So, again, they're so weird, because it seemed like they really hated fetches, Wizards. Maro has talked about how fetches are kind of a mistake. They slow down gameplay a lot with a lot of extra shuffling and searching and waiting. And they're just so dang strong that most decks have to run them. Even monocolored decks are often incentivized to run fetches just because there's so many auxiliary things that they do for you. It makes like Scry a lot better, and cards like Brainstorm and stuff so much better. I don't know, where do you even start? So, it seemed like for a long time that we wouldn't get any other fetch land variants. That there's like the proper fetches, and then the bad fetches before that, that always entered tapped the land that you found. But now we are getting fetches again. Ones that seem actually kind of pushed. What am I trying to think of? Inspiring Vantage? No, that's not what that's called. Search, land, there's sets, modern, horizons, Prismatic Vista. So this was like the universal fetch. It only got basics. You paid 1 life. So this is like another variant on that. Looks very pretty. Only gets basics. ETB's tapped. Then if you're doing it later in the game, at ETB's untapped. No pay 1 life. Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. I don't think this is good, just because typically you want untapped lands earlier in the game, and later in the game it doesn't matter so much if you can get untapped or tapped lands. So this really isn't that good. This is going to really bite you in the ass in a lot of hands. Like, you can't keep this in your opener anywhere near as easily. You typically want untapped lands to play until you can play out your hand. Yeah, I don't know. I'd be surprised if this gets played in anywhere that, like, this is legal for sure, and then other fetches pretty outclass it too. Hey, wow, that's a lot of damage. That's a lot of damage, and that's pretty good stats. Like, this is hard to kill. Yeah, I think this has potential. In some really aggressively drawing red deck that's just churning out a bunch of stuff. And you can play a little more controlling too, because you know you're going to have this crazy card advantage. You're not just going to be in top deck mode. The card advantage coming from other cards, of course. And then this becomes kind of like a win con, additional control. So it's not like this slots into burn. It's just slots, I don't know, I want to fix somewhere. It seems very strong. Artwork is kind of cool too. Brazen Borrower. Only block creatures with flying. Flash flying 3/1 for 3. This kind of feels like a Vendilion Click reference. Petty Theft. Alright. This seems fine. This is kind of interesting in that it's kind of like if this had the Vendilion Click ETB, then it would combo with itself really nicely. You bounce something scary and then they just get rid of it. As it stands, I don't know, it's quite a lot of power. You flash it in, it's quite disruptive. This is like pretty good for like a boomerang type effect. It's quite cheap. The thing that makes it cheaper than some other boomerangs is that it has to be opponent. You can't bounce your own stuff for value. So it's like a lot of things that are pretty strong. They're not like the strongest form we've ever seen. It's just surprising that this is a mythic, you know? Because none of this is that exciting. It's just all pretty aggressively costed. So, I don't know. It's like, this card is good, but it can't make a deck by itself. So if there's a deck for this card, then it'll obviously go in, just because it's quite strong. And if there isn't, then there will continue not to be, right? Like this deck is this card isn't going to change whether or not there's a blue tempo aggro deck. So I don't know. I don't know how to evaluate it, but you got Cyrano wings, buddy? If you have Cyrano wings, it's okay if you have Cyrano wings. That's not something to be embarrassed about, but I think you have Cyrano wings. All right, sure. Well, it's the gingerbread cabin. Sure, yeah, get some food, of course. Tempting Witch. I think we saw this before. So I was talking about these weirdo baby arms, wasn't I? Yes. Okay, so we're caught up. That didn't take as long as I thought. I guess there wasn't that many cards left. Let's look at some subsets of the set. Just kind of like refresh our memory. So we can maybe first look at all the mythics. I think that's the way to do it. And then another thing to do is to look at ECG Salvation Wiki from Eldraine. So this just kind of has some fun stuff like it. We can look at all the story spotlight cards. There's like themes, card types, cycles. It's just kind of fun to refresh our memory. So these are the mythics. This one is part of the Planeswalker or the Brawl decks or whatever. There's this one that we were looking at, Brawl decks. Oh yeah, this thing. This is good. I guess it's actually pretty strong. I don't know. It's quite a combat blowout. Because assumingly you're going wide to make it cheap. You don't have to go that wide though. You just, if you want it as cheap as possible, you just need 4. And then you just attack it, shit, to whoever's not blocked. Or whoever is blocked, I guess. This is get trampled too. I don't know. I don't know. This thing is crazy. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Alright. Oh yeah, this thing. Sure. This again, I was surprised it was mythic. This seems like it could be strong. There's this MTG uploader. It's not for everybody. Seemer's quite crass, and all the way to the name, which is Magic AIDS. But one thing he does that I haven't seen like any other Magic YouTuber do is as cards are being spoiled, he'll load them up in Cockatrice, which is like an unofficial MTG simulator that you can just add whatever cards you want instantly to, because it doesn't actually have rules support. You have to just kind of play out the rules yourself as if you're playing Paper Magic. So he'll take cards that have just been spoiled and build decks around them and see how they're likely to perform when the set actually comes out. So that's kind of cool. Anyways, he's been playing a lot of Oko decks, and they look quite interesting. I'm very curious to see how this card ends up doing. Yeah. This is some good mythics. And then here was the cycle of, hey, where's the red one? Oh, right, this is the red one. Right. That makes sense. Yeah, of these, I'm quite curious about this one. This I think could be part of some insane ramp engine. Like, this seems so useful for churning through so many decks. Yeah, I don't know. Some cool stuff. So what stuff did we have going on? Yeah, alright, yeah. Yeah. Alright. Oh, okay, yeah. So this one I only kind of saw near the end of these spoilers. Knights go wide. Knights go wide. And ramp, sure. Food introduces mouse, peasant, and warlock creature types. Noble is reintroduced. I see. Yeah. I think this is a pretty cool set overall. These are some pretty neat cycles. I like the super check lands. Just because, you know, they're at common, so they're not too exciting, but I could see them doing this effect with a rare land that actually has some major benefit. Oh yeah, these color hosers. The castles are all pretty cool. Again, this sort of check, I think, is a neat way to kind of increase the power level by making it a little harder to play. Alright, yeah. Just signpost for a draft archetype. Oh, I see. I didn't really pick up on these. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. 10 heavy hybrid uncommons. These are the 4 mana ones that we saw. Yep. Yeah. Cool. And the story cards are, let's see. We should be able to figure out the plot just from this. Unexplained vision. Right. So it is their father. Before I thought this card was crazy because it was just like, hey, you see that deer? Yeah, bro, me too. But it makes sense that they're looking at the deer. Yeah. And then Garrick losing his curse. I don't know why that happens. And then there's a happy ending. Because Kenrith is back. The queen seemed like she was taking care of things just fine on her own. This one. Till my last breath, I will defend the realm. Yeah, well, whatever. I'm sure she loves her husband. Glad to see him again. Alright. Oh, and the last thing I wanted to look at, I think this is a good finale, is just to look at all of the collector booster cards. Oh, aren't these great? Like, they vary. This one I don't think is all that interesting, really. It kind of just looks like magic art. Normal magic art with, like, one layer less of Photoshop, you know? To really bring it into the full, like, movie-looking quality. It's just a little more sketchy. I like the ones where, like this, where things aren't being depicted realistically anymore. Look at those trees. I can't get over those trees. So this I found out because I was looking at Reddit threads. It floats on the clouds. Isn't that awesome? It's a castle that's sitting on top of the clouds. That's such a cool trope to evoke. This one is crazy. The art scheme is just nuts. The framing and stuff, again, this looks more just sort of like traditional magic art, but the color scheme like brings it over the top. I wish they had done, I get that they wanted to make the adventure cards special and to really emphasize how cool this frame is, but I'd wish they'd done this art style for like some of the other cards too. Like to see this in kind of the storybook art style, or this or something. Woo! Oh, but it's sweet. Yeah, oh yeah, these are great. This art I think is fantastic too. I didn't even talk about that when I was trying to figure out what the heck was going on with this card, but the abstractness of this art I think is really cool. Even though it has the really realistic art style, the lips in the back are like photorealistic, which is eerie. It's so abstracted. It's kind of like a witch's labyrinth and Madoka type of feeling. I really like that. I wish they would play around with that sort of psychedelic space a little bit more. This card is another card that Magic Aids has been playing a lot with. It's a lot stronger than I thought at first. Because it's like a mana dork. At the very least, you're getting a mana dork. Like, I realized that, a one-turn mana dork. But then it has, like, nice synergies. It's a body that sticks around. Yeah, this is a cool set. I wasn't super excited going into it, but they kind of sold me on how much this sort of lore, this sort of cultural heritage actually matters to me. How deep inside all of this stuff was. And it's just so well realized, such a well realized world that you can see all of these kind of fairy tale type stories and stuff and imagine them all playing out together, all interwoven together in this one world. And it just it delights the imagination to think that way, to really imagine not just a world that has gigantic crow knights and a big dragon, but that they're running around together with elves riding on foxes and this sexy motherfucker, and that it's all happening simultaneously in this one place is something that really pushes it over the top. So yeah. Alright. Next we have... I think it's the Return to Theros is the next standard set. Yes, Theros Beyond Death, which isn't going to come out until Q1 2020. So we won't have spoilers for that for quite a while, but I think the next thing that we're going to be looking forward to is Commander sets. Yeah, Commander 2019, or Core Set 2020? Have we seen that yet? Yes? Alright, I thought so. Yeah, I remember these cards. This is out too? Yeah, we did look at these. Alright, wait, so what's the next thing out? Nothing until Theros Beyond Death? What? What? You know that people won't buy Throne of Eldraine this entire time, Wizards. I mean, they totally will. I'm just kind of kidding. Because Wizards is just non-stop cramming in sets whenever they can, but I'm actually surprised that there's this long of a drought without something announced. I mean, I think it's fine. Like, I actually think the rate at which cards come out these days is actually pretty crazy, and we could do with a break now and again. But I'm shocked that Wizards agrees with me. All right, so see you in quite a while, I guess. Unless I can come up with some magic videos to make in the meantime. But I really enjoy making these videos, talking about new cards, kind of sharing in my excitement for them. I hope you enjoy watching them, because I'm going to keep doing it. Alright, bye-bye!